everybody, Mark from Rams Up here. Been promising to do this for a while. I'm going to give you my prediction of the Rams 53-man roster. Hey, it's late May, so this is just a really, hopefully an educated guess on what this roster is going to look like. I know a lot of other guys have done this. I haven't looked at these other predictions. This is just my view going in cold, trying to identify the 53 guys that are going to be on this roster. So let's get to it. What do I have here? We'll start with the offense, and I have 24 guys here identified, and what you see in green, those are the rookies. Yes, a lot of rookies, and you think that's a lot. Wait till we see the defense. Now, don't get too caught up in what looks like a depth chart view here. Just trying to give you an idea of how many guys are in each position group and who the likely starters are. Things could change, especially along that offensive line. But any surprises here? Not really. I mean, the wide receivers, Cup, Atwell, Jefferson, Skowronek, Nakua, and then maybe Austin Trammell's a bit of a surprise. I took him over a couple other guys. We'll talk about them when we get to the practice squad, perhaps. Yes, I will have the practice squad here for you. Offensive line, I think, this is going to be the group this is going to be the offensive line group, I'm pretty dang sure. Now, sometimes some NFL teams have carried only 8 offensive linemen. I've seen 9 is probably the most common number, and then 10. But with what happened to the Rams last year, I think they'll go with at least 9. I think Warren McClendon is the last guy to make this roster. Maybe Tremaine Ankrum. We tend to forget about him. I think the Rams like him. There's a couple of guys left off this list. Again, we'll talk about them in a second, perhaps. Tight ends. I've been going back and forth on if the Rams keep Tyler Higbee around, and I just get this vibe. Maybe they are going to keep him. They're going to keep Tyler Higbee. I think this Rams offense could use an experienced and reliable tight end, although he wasn't really that reliable last year. So Higbee sticks around for another year, perhaps, and that bumps someone else off the roster. But then we have the rookie Davis Allen and Bryson Hopkins. 3 quarterbacks, Stafford, Bennett, and Ripien. And then 3 running backs, Cam Akers, Kyron Williams, and Zach Evans. I think Evans would probably more likely end up being the number 2 guy. So any big surprises here? I guess the last guys to make this roster are Trammell, Ankrum, McClendon, and then do they keep 3 quarterbacks? Probably. So Ripien there. And then, of course, that whole tight end thing is going to be a bit of a mess depending on what they do with Higbee. So there you have it. That's my offense. And let's go to a look with the defense piled on top of that. And there you have it. The defensive line group, got the one rookie, Kobe Turner. Everybody else comes back from last year. Now, the one wild card in this is Michael Hoyt. He's going to make the roster, but with all these edge guys they drafted, does Michael Hoyt go back to being a more traditional defensive lineman? He's certainly versatile, so they can use him in a lot of ways. I have him over there in that edge outside linebacker group for now, along with the 2 rookies, Young and Mathis. And then over there on the right, you'll see Deshaun Johnson. And I went back and forth between him and another guy. Does Mr. Irrelevant make this team? I took him over someone else. And one of the reasons I did, again, it goes back to that versatility. I was watching a YouTube video specifically about Deshaun Johnson, Mr. Irrelevant, and they pointed out that he played nose tackle at Toledo at times. He played the 3 technique. He played edge. I don't think he's going to play nose tackle in the NFL, but bottom line, he can contribute in a lot of different ways, kind of like Hoyt. So I have him making the team. Then you have another outside linebacker there, Nick Hampton, over on the right. Inside linebackers, you have the rookie there in green. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. If you listen to my podcast enough, I'm just going to be calling that guy Double A or something. That name, I wish they'd draft more John Smiths, to be honest with you, but there you have it. He makes the team, though. And He's he's going to contribute. We need help there at inside linebacker. Roseman's more of a special teams guy. You got Ernest Jones and Jake Hummel. Now you get to the cornerback group. This is really interesting, and I struggled with this group a little bit. I have 5 cornerbacks and 6 safeties. Now, is that really going to happen? I don't know. That's what I'm rolling with right now. Durant and Rochelle, and then over on the other side, Kendrick and Jolly, and then I have Tomlinson, the rookie. They're slotted as potentially a nickel back, whatever you want to call them. Bottom line, 5 cornerbacks. Now, the reason, the thing I was going around and around with on this one is, does the new guy, Vincent Gray, beat out Jolly for a spot on this roster? I think they're going to carry 5 cornerbacks, and it's going to be Jolly or Gray at this point. Unless they bring, hey, Troy Hill's still out there? I think he is. But this is what I'm rolling with right now. All these guys are basically on the Rams roster right now. So that's what I'm limiting myself. I'm not making any predictions outside this current Rams roster. I think they have 85 guys on the roster. That's including rookies that aren't actually drafted, rookies who aren't technically signed yet. Now we get to the safety group, and I have 6 safeties. I think this could be a really good group, better than a lot of people think. Yeast, Lake, and Fuller all return. And then the drafted rookie Taylor and 2 undrafted rookies, Johnson and Torrance. They both make the team. And this is probably one of my predictions that I feel least confident about, carrying 6 safeties. In all likelihood, it maybe will be 5. And maybe they don't carry all those inside linebackers either. Maybe they only carry 3. That would allow them to carry an extra offensive player. I don't know. That's what I'm going with, though. This is, you could go round and around with this all day long, trying to figure out who the 53 guys are here in late May. That's what I'm going with. We still have 3 open spots, and you can probably guess who they are. And we got special teams there listed at the bottom. 3 more rookies, Dunn, Ward, and Evans. Evans, the drafted punter. Ward, one of the probably the most highly regarded long snapper coming out of college, and Dunn, a really consistent kicker. Not a big leg, but Ethan Evans does have a big leg, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Evans taking over kickoff duties. Now, the practice squad. Who are some of the guys that just missed making this team? Ronnie Rivers gets bumped. A.J. Curry gets bumped. Zach Thomas, the offensive lineman, he's kept on the practice squad. Lance McCutcheon, no, I'm sorry, still not time for Lance McCutcheon. Could he end up beating out Trammell? Yeah, sure he could. But I went with Trammell at this point. Xavier Smith is a small speed type guy who could make this team as a kick returner, punt returner. Burmeister, and the reason I kept Burmeister on this practice squad, Rams signed him as a wide receiver. He played quarterback in college. And, hey, you get an extra camp arm and a guy that can run routes too. I don't quite understand, what Burmeister's role is, but Rams are saying he's a wide receiver, but he played quarterback. So Burmeister is on my practice squad as an extra arm in camp. And who else do we got here? LeCount, I have him making it as a safety on the practice squad, and he is a guy that would get bumped by Torrance or Johnson if they only carried 5 safeties. That would be the end of LeCount's time with the Rams. A couple of linebackers, and then Keir Thomas. He's basically the guy. I was between him and Deshaun Johnson. I know they're 2 different types of players, but Johnson brings more versatility. TJ Carter, guy the Rams have kept around a little bit. And Daniel Hardy. The reason I bumped Hardy to the practice squad is I really don't know what the Rams think of Daniel Hardy. But I'll tell you this, they drafted edge heavy in this draft. So maybe they don't have a lot of hope for Daniel Hardy's future. Just guessing here. You're not going to get this information from our Rams insiders, I'll tell you that. It's a camp secret what's going on with Daniel Hardy, but there he is on our practice squad. And then we have the cornerback in McCutcheon. So 2 McCutcheons on the practice squad. And then, of course, the cornerback Davis and the running back, the big, thick running back Evans, rounding things out. So that is my 53-man roster and 16 guys for the practice squad. I'll have to save this. It'll be there for anyone to view come September when the final roster is announced. We'll see how I did. That's all I got. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will revisit this. If you have any changes that you'd like to see me make on this, maybe I'll revisit this and throw in some corrections, some changes. Give me the data, the evidence to back up what changes you would make, and we'll roll with it perhaps. That's it for now. Out here from Rams Up.